Halftime adjustments are key in sports, right? So we made a halftime adjustment. We're glad to have Mike White from the University of Georgia with us at 11 o'clock today. Mike enters his 22nd season as a part of basketball in the Southeastern Conference. As a player, as an assistant coach, and I met him as an assistant coach when he was at Ole Miss, and now as a head coach. Last season, Mike led Georgia to its first NCAA tournament appearance in a decade before getting into coaching in his time at Ole Miss. He was a 4-year starter, helped lead the program to 3 consecutive NCAA tournaments, including its first ever victory in the NCAA tournament. He was also, I read this last year and it made me ache, so I made sure we included it this year. He developed a reputation for his toughness and passion. That remains. You can see that as a coach. During his senior season, he played with a broken nose, a broken finger, a torn rotator cuff, and a sprained ankle, all at the same time. So it would have been easier to list what was right than what was wrong, but a tribute to him and his dedication to the game and his teammates. During Mike's time at Ole Miss, he met his wife, Kira, who was also a student athlete. She was an all-SEC volleyball player during her time at Ole Miss, and they have 5 children, 2 daughters, and 3 sons. Welcome to the podium, the head coach at the University of Georgia, Mike White.
Yep, no complaining about your ankle, Commissioner Sankey. Great to be here. I guess opening statement, proud of what we're rebuilding at Georgia, and proud to join Blue Cain and Dylan James as we made the trip up here this morning. Apologize for the way that we had to pivot, as Commissioner Sankey talked about, halftime adjustments. Plain issue, we weren't late. I promise you we'd own it if we were. It's a plain issue. But yeah, highest seed in 20 years is what we try to sell in recruiting, and feel like we've got a chance to be very good this year. Again, proud about what we've accomplished in terms of the basketball environment and atmosphere in Stegeman Coliseum. Our administration's been incredible, allowing us to make those changes, and our fan base being open to that change and embracing it at this point. We had some big-time home court advantage opportunities last season. In addition, this might be the only time I can say this in coaching. I hope not, but it may be, so I have to say it. We had 13 guys take summer school this past summer and had 13 on the honor roll. Had a 3.79 GPA, so our guys continue to excel on and off the court, and really proud to coach them. We got a great group. We'd love to answer any questions.
If you have questions, raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. We'll start down here in the front row.
Hey, Mike, hope you're doing well. Anthony Christensen, WholeHogSports.com. Just last year on this stage, if I remember correctly, you said that you felt the SEC could get double-digit teams into the NCAA tournament. Yeah. Just looking back, what did you see about the league that made you that confident going into last year, and do you see a lot of the same going into this year?
Yeah. I'm glad you pointed out last year and not the previous 3 where I probably said the same thing, right? But we finally broke through. It was a historical year. It was absolutely incredible, probably a little bit more unique to me and some others probably in this room, in that we're in the SEC, right? We've been in the SEC. I've been in the SEC, as I was talking with Damian Fishback about, since we were both 18 years old. So we both have an affinity for this league and for each institution in this league, and it was really, really cool to see 14 go. We saw it coming right probably about halfway through the non-conference when all of us took care of our business versus the mid-major opponents, and then we won some quality games, against some of the other conferences. Obviously, in the challenge, we had an incredible record. Hope to have again this year. It'd be a little more challenging, of course, I anticipate. Our league was abnormally old last year, right? We had incredible amount of experience. Our league is not as experienced. Do I anticipate us still being the best league in college basketball? I do. I really do. It'd be hard to match what we did last year. I know we're all going to aim to do the same thing, but we're all, I'm sure, locked in on our own team and our own growth and development. So that's where we are at Georgia. But it's going to be another great year in the SEC. We'll see how great.
Okay, we'll go all the way to the back section. Patrick.
What's going on, Coach? Just wanted to ask, Blue Cane's coming into his third year as a junior. What makes him so special, for one? And then he's made such great strides from freshman to sophomore. Like, how do you keep cultivating him to just get better? And I have the expectation to see how he's developed to be a fantastic player. I know you do as well.
Yeah.
Like, how have you been pushing him this offseason and helping him grow?
Blue's matured as much from an intangible standpoint as anyone that I've coached. I'd probably put a handful of those guys into one category. I've coached for a long time now. I'm really proud to coach a guy that's made that big of a jump in terms of his level of accountability, his approach to practice, his approach to being coached, his modeling of behavior and the way that we play, his becoming an extension of us on our staff. He's turned into a winning player and a culture guy. And 2 years ago, he was a freshman that was hoping to jog into an open three and make a shot, right? So really proud of him. He's tough as nails. That's probably his greatest strength, his greatest characteristic. Yeah, he's absolutely not. He's definitely more aerodynamic. He's gotten a little quicker. No, but he's super competitive and really tough.
A question, we'll go over here to our left-hand side, third row.
Hey, Mike. Jordan Hill, Dogs 24/7. Mentioning Blue, but also Dylan James, two of the older guys on this team. What have you seen from those guys as far as leadership with a group that has a lot of new faces, both from high school and the portal?
Those two guys have stepped up. They've been really good, really consistent in practice. And Pat asked about Blue. Dylan is as consistent as anyone I've ever coached. Asa was like that last year. Dylan was right there with them. Their mentality on the court's a little bit different. But Dylan, in terms of leading by example, being a guy that you can point to as a staff every day and say, and having the opportunity to say to his teammates, hey, man, look at this guy. This is how it's supposed to be done. This is how he did it on Monday. This is how he did it yesterday. He's doing it again the right way today. He's just incredibly consistent. He's really versatile. And neither of those two guys are big rah-rah guys. But, we always challenge our guys to lead with their own personality, and those two guys have learned how to do so.
Okay, we'll stay in the same section, second row. Okay.
Hey, Mike. Neil Blackman, Saturday Down South. Your team, I think when you got to Georgia, you guys were in like the 300s in defensive efficiency. Finished 32nd last year.
Yeah.
Be hard-pressed to find a program that's improved that much on one side of the ball.
I think it's number one. I think it's the greatest improvement defensively. There was only one direction to go, but we've gotten better. Hopefully we can match that this year. I'm not going to cut you off.
No, I appreciate that. I guess the question is kind of when you went about roster construction, I know you guys focused on sort of making sure you took care of the ball better, but you feel like you can duplicate that level of defensive sort of intensity. And
we're optimistic that we can. Probably 5-10 games in, we'll have a better feel for where we are defensively. I do think it's going to be different. Our roster makeup is different in a bunch of different ways, but just from a defensive standpoint, we're not as big, not as physical, but we're a little bit quicker and faster. And I think that we could potentially, our aim at least, is to create more turnovers, extend pressure a little bit more differently than last year. I hope we can hold our own on the glass. And I'll finish offensively. I think we'll score it a little bit easier. I do. We'll shoot it better, and we'll certainly pass it better. It's the most skilled passing team that I've had the opportunity to coach in years. It really is. But defensively, hope to be as good. And our guys are working at it, but definitely different.
Okay, we'll stay in that same area in the third row. Anthony, over here to our left.
Hey, Mike, Anthony Dasher, UGA Sports. The guys we've spoken to so far, you're talking about the perimeter shooting, especially guys like Dylan and Blue. They look at that and they say, this is going to be a lot better shooting team than it was last season. You've seen these guys in practice, obviously. You kind of feel that same way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we just got to, how do you become a better shooting team? You sign a bunch of good shooters, right? Justin Bailey from Wofford, I want to say shot 46 off the top of my head, and I'll give you some stats, and I could be wrong on a couple of these because the recruiting season was over a few months ago. But they're shooting well in practice, but Bailey made a ton of threes. Smurf Millender made a ton of threes at a high clip at UTSA. Jeremiah Wilkinson is a good shooter, but a really good scorer. Blue's shooting it better. Dylan's shooting it better. Jordan Ross has an opportunity, has an ability to make a three. Jake Wilkins has been a pleasant surprise as a true freshman in practice. Kareem Stagg can step out and make threes. Cannon Catchings is as good a shooter as anyone on our team. So we got a number of guys that can make shots. We got to take good shots. We got to share it. We got to defend. We got to rebound. But next to shooting, again, our passing just significantly improved overall. Pretty good passing team, one of the better passing teams that I've coached. Hopefully I'm not eating those words 10 games in.
Coach, we'll take one final question to our right front row.
Hey, Coach, Jack Pilgrim, KSR. Somto stepped in and made a pretty real day one impact for you guys. Just what are you expecting in year two? What is he capable? What jump is he capable of making?
He's one of the best shot blockers in the country, Somto Surreal. Defensive physicality, presence, length, 7'6" wingspan, 40-inch vertical leap. Working on his conditioning, his wind. He's the challenge every day is just fighting through that discomfort, to be a guy that can improve his motor and make multiple efforts. And he finishes at a high clip too. He did last year. He's working to improve at the foul line. He's shooting a really high percentage in practice right now, which gets you excited about his offense, but also gets you worried about your interior defense. But he's a guy that we need to have a big year, and we expect him to make a big jump from his freshman to sophomore season.
Coach White, thank you for your time today.
Thank you, guys.